will be Rukinzo versus Jeshi Stars. Men, we are here live from Old Kampala Arena. I'm here with a lady commentator. Let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, from our listeners, you're speaking to, Hillary. And you know, one thing I've seen about this team and their warm up, and they seem equally matched. So this really seems like it is going to be a match to watch. Being it's actually Burundi versus Tanzania, UK.
Oh, so you mean Rukinzo is from Burundi
Yes,
and
Rukinzo.
Jesters is from Tanzania.
Yes, it
So it's
is.
a battle between the smallest country
And the big.
and the biggest country.
Yeah, but they seem like when you look at how they are warming up and their teams and all, they seem equally matched. But all in all, Mikasa will speak. And good luck to both teams.
I've seen some good heights in both teams.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see how how energetic they are. Those arms and those swings.
I mean, the warm up literally tells it.
And they haven't gone on an attacking drill. That's what I'm expecting to see. They're all still handling the usual way. But once they start that attacking drill, that's when we shall see. They check it. No, when the game is about to start, you say, I've seen the mate.
Okay, let's take a small toy course.
Yes.
What coin toss rather? Which team do you think?
This is my first time watching both teams play.
Yes, but
Although the name that sounds that we have been hearing of is Rukinzo.
so
So
Jeshi is more of
a quiet team, not
quiet
known.
team.
Maybe they will showcase their talents and we get to know them.
Yeah, actually, but I feel like you can literally say something like you can.
Anyway, white is always an attractive color than blue. So
In other
we
words,
should
you're
see.
rooting for Rukinzo.
Because that is what is sounding. People go for what they have known about,
Uh-huh.
what they have heard about.
I thought you were going to root for our immediate neighbor, Tanzania.
Tanzania. I've never seen anything
Yeah,
Tanzania,
that's there's just something
but
good
Burundi, I
about.
think they have ever appeared. I think they were there in the previous zone 5
Yes,
place,
they are.
but in Rwanda. But
Yes.
Tanzania, I think, was it there?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Mm,
I don't really think so.
yeah.
But like I said,
Mm,
Mikasa will tell it all.
yeah. Indeed, we are waiting for the referees uh, to finish what they are doing, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. And after they call the captains, they toss, we know who is going to serve, and we get to know that the game is officially soon starting. Although the time, we are still left with less than 20 minutes for the game to be started. So, uh, talking about the previous game,
Mm.
did it end too early? Was there any challenge, no obstacle for APR ladies? Mm,
I would say in particular there was one particular player who was
mm,
literally giving them a challenge on
mm.
reception
Yes.
because her service I think was a bit hard and technical for them.
Mm,
So they would like try, but
mm,
I feel like yeah, I would say every game has its own challenges
mm.
and all. So, but they got a lift, and VVC also got a lift from the team they
Uh,
were playing.
Mostly, since we are used to PVC, since it's our Ugandan team here,
Yes, yes.
I saw it got challenges in services and in receptions.
Trust me,
Mhm,
with the VVC I'm used to seeing,
mm.
this was a step up.
Uh,
This
well,
was a very good showcase.
well, their next game is against Sportes VVC because there are three in the group.
Yes,
So, and we know what happens in the league. Always Sportes takes is dominant.
yes,
But with the additions in VVC,
yes.
what do you say about it? Is it
Well,
going to stabilize itself in the next game?
like I said, there's always something new to bring on table. When it comes to volleyball, it's really hard to predict.
Mm.
That's why I keep saying Mikasa will tell it all because that what happens on that court is something very different.
Someone might say BBC was just trying to see how they are coordinating against the team that they think they wouldn't beat, as in preparation for a team they think they would beat that they have played with on various occasions. That's why the next game, if it is Sportes APR, it will be interesting one because Sportes is leading the table, as well as APR on the other side is performing well in their league. So it will be an interesting one. But to us, the fans here, we shall be more interested to see Sportes versus VVC because all will be fighting for that second place.
I, on the other hand, really love to see. I would really love to see both games.
Yeah.
VVC Sportes
Mm.
and then Sportes APR. I would really want to see both games because, like I said, now you may find that VVC is playing that way because they knew they were meeting APR. And for some fans, well, it's their first time, I think, playing this tournament. So I feel like they were a bit timid and shaking a little.
The tricky part in having a group of only 3 teams, you play 2 matches.
Yeah.
And already when you know the other one is more stronger than the other one, the one which is more stronger, you just go there to try out new things, what you'll be doing, how have they play. You don't put up a strong performance trying to pick a point from them. But the other one, you go with go for it, nothing to lose. That's why Sporters, having seen that there are 3 in the group, I think in their mind they're saying, let's go get a point at least from APR or beat it to avoid that late saga of them and BBC having what the real whole Ugandan.
I understand. I understand
because
what you
anything
mean.
can happen. Supporters might say, oh, okay, APR beat us, let us go for visa and we beat it and things change. And you would like it being its first time playing such an international tournament, they would like to go a little step further. So on your images right now, we are seeing the first referee and the second referee holding up all team captains come for a toss in order to prepare for the game that is remaining with around 15 minutes to begin.
When we talk about equally matched, this team, I believe they are both equally matched. When I look at the heights, the teams, and I mean the players and everything,
Either you
they
have ever
are.
seen them playing or the warm up just took your mind up.
Well, let me tell you something. A magician never reveals her secrets. So just watch. Stay tuned. The game is about to start. I think in about a few minutes they're going to start the game because right now the
Doing the
captains
toss.
are tossing to see which side is starting with the service and which team is taking which side.
They are indicating, they are instructing the both captains about the rules of the game. Apart from tossing and knowing who is serving first, they're also telling them from the hand signals. I can say that maybe the opposite player is allowed to move after contact, after the one in the service zone having tossed the ball and also contacted it. Then the opposite is supposed to move. Because most times when the server like is going to jump serve and tosses the ball high, those people move. So by the time the jump server contacts the ball, they call a rotation foul. So they have reminded them of those rules. So in case you see such a call has been called, there are no those. I was still there. Yeah,
You're not surprised because information was given out.
So I think they are remaining the way they are. According to that gesture, because they just have to stand up there, line up, they see the jersey numbers, the players that are on the list, they count them all available. Then after they do a handshake, they greet themselves before they officially begin the match.
More like fair play. I would call it a fair play.
Yeah,
Fair play greeting. You're bidding each and every one of them. Good luck.
Right, our dear viewers, this is Adam Mulinde. I'm going to be doing commentary with.
Auma Hillary. And the game has been kicked off.
I don't. Okay, that is one part of being kicked off.
It
At
has.
me, when they authorized service, that's when I said the game has started.
Well, the first whistle had gone, had been blown, so the game has kicked off.
To me, my belief is until the service whistle has been authorized. As you can see, they've gone back to warm up. Now this is the official warm up. The other one,
Well,
I don't know what.
unofficial.
I don't know what to call it.
A warm up is a warm up. Is it warming thoroughly?
So this is where I'm going to get a chance to first see what I would like first see, then to say that this one may take it.
In other words, this is you looking out for what you want to look out for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think the warm up will be around for 10 minutes. So we shall be back after those 10 minutes in order to give you the live commentary for the game. Ladies and gentlemen, those watching on YouTube, Sported's channel, we bring to you Jeshi Stars of Tanzania taking on Rukinzo of Burundi.
Burundi. So are you contented with what you have seen so far?
Yeah, this second warm-up, or the official
The
warm-up,
official warm-up?
yeah, it has showed that what you were actually saying, that they may be equally matched, has some percentage out of the 100
It does
or
not
the
have.
10%.
It does not have this percentage. It
Mm.
is right. It is true. You just do not want to accept it.
Now, me, as an African saying, the eyes of an African man
In the hands, eh?
are in the hands or in already what has already happened.
It is well.
So if it is decisive, it will be equally matched.
It
So right
is
now,
well.
as you see on your screen, we
Our
we are
game
seeing the 6 starting players
of both teams.
of both teams on court. Right now, that is Rukinzo having their own team players word without the coach. Now that is very important. Some players may not be open to the coach, or coach dictates things, or other players step up as a captain and talks to the team, to motivate them and have a good game. I think the second referee is done
With the rotations?
with the
Oh.
lineup, the starting lineup, starting 6 with their positions.
Switch of
The referee is coming on,
the
yeah.
libero and
Yeah.
blocker.
As the second ref has to do that. So I haven't seen anyone to the service son. So
Service is starting with Rukinzo by
No,
the looks
thank
of
you.
it.
With just as I think, according to how the opposite was standing.
Really?
Yeah. Because they are Ribery zone, as you can see.
You know, there's a defense aspect, and they are literally defense and reception specialists. So,
Let's see who's going to win it.
I think you are right.
Oh, they were waiting for the balls, the match balls. They were being used in the warm-up. As you can see, these ones are ready to receive.
By the way they are standing on court, positions they're taking up.
As you can see. Oh, they're taking some balls for the ball retrievers. This is, I think, is it the first time we are using ball retrievers?
It is
This
a big
year.
tournament.
Yeah.
It is a big
This year is the
tournament.
first
So,
time.
yes.
And international, not just big.
Yes. And that means we go all.
So I win what I said. Jeshi Stars of Tanzania serving first.
Okay.
So, to
Ladies,
me, this is where I tell you
the game
has begun.
officially.
Yeah, for you said on the warm-up, but me, yeah.
That's a good service.
To me, that was an easy one.
Really?
Yeah, straight in the hands of the receiver attacker, in front of him, not making the receiver attacker struggle. And it just touched a little bit to the setter, and the setter to release it to the attackers. So that's 1 point so far for Rukinzo. Wow, that's now a good service. It was a jump service.
Yeah, that's a good service.
Yeah. That made it difficult for the receivers. So that's 1 point so far for ended up passing it Rukinzo. Over. Wow, so that's now a good service. It was a jump player enjoyed himself.
Second jump service.
You know, people call it actually a free ball, that one.
Oh no! Oh no! He blocked it on the net on his side.
Okay, do you know the other one was successful? But some people say middle players are supposed to take that. But the receiver attacker took it. This one with some ponte, they call it ponte for the ladies.
Rotation foul.
Again, the rules when they said after the toss and after
the
contact.
contact is when you're to move. So there was a rotation.
Clearly, the second ref, he communicated to the captains, and now she has put it into emphasis.
Yes.
So now that is 2-2.
Now that is what I would call our.
Okay. That's a rally.
Mm, I get the idea. I
The
get the
idea.
idea. The idea was right.
Mm,
The brush of the blocker,
mm,
but the blocker was wide.
he wouldn't have showed that there's a brush because he knew. Because when he was trying to brush it, he knew exactly that the ball just went without a brush. So that is 3-3.
Yes.
Rukinzo now is serving. So far, we haven't seen yet that kaboom. People call it PC or a police case. What I can say, the Stars are struggling with the reception.
Yes.
Each pass they are making is
That
going
kaboom.
over
Yes,
People
it
call
the
it
is.
PC or
Rukinzo
a
side.
police case.
It's more like they're shooting the
What I can
reception
say,
instead of standing
the
it.
Stars
It would be much easier when you do stand it, it would drop to where you want it to work when you're shooting.
They're making errors, but they're also benefiting from them. They made the reception error, but they benefited a point from it.
Yeah, the block. That was a good block. No.
Wow. That we call it
That-
unforced error.
Now, that is something I do not understand with tall players. They toss the ball high enough. They're already tall. They're even jumping. But the ball, stab it to the net. It just doesn't make sense to me.
The part of it coming to the net is when they contact the ball above it, on top of it. That's when you are bringing it more down. It's like an attack. So when you toss and you are trying to touch the ball above or on top of it, that means you are bringing it from its flight. Remember, that's why short players, when they're down, they hit at the bottom. That's why sometimes it goes out. Because at the bottom of the ball, it goes more wide. That's a good attack. Oh, no touch at all.
Oh, it was off
That was
court.
a touch.
No, there was no touch. And
Oh.
that's just after their service error. So Tanzania's Jeshi is in the lead.
That is
What
another.
was a 2-point lead
Okay,
is
so far
now
we
a
have
1
seen
point
two
lead.
service errors. So which do you
There are
prefer?
actually 3 service errors.
Oh,
2 on Tanzania Stars.
okay, let's say
Yes.
these two previous one, the one in net and this one out. Which do
Ye-
you prefer?
I would say you'd rather serve a ball outside than you putting it in the net. Because when
Others say, yes, he has served out, but it was a simple serve out, not a hard one. At least serve hard out. That's what they say.
service,
That is a spectacular play. Ball is still in play. Well
good
pitched.
defense. And a monster. Ball is still in play. And the ref calls
kaboom. People call it PC
a
or a
net
police
error.
case. What I can say, the Stars are
Okay,
on the attacker.
whatever happened there, it's gone. Let's focus on to the next one. The Rebello with the pass, and the middle player passes it over. What a good
That
block.
is a good block. That is a good block. Something about that middle ball, it seemed like the middle blocker contacted it when it was behind them.
Wow, that's what is a quick set. I never focused on that. I was seeing on how they are moving. Again,
Another rotation.
the second ref is insisting, move after the contact. Move after the contact when the server has contacted the ball. And that's equals distance. I think that's he's the a player of Jester's era by moving too fast. From 6-1, that's a short distance.
And the setter makes his point.
Most times I was still talking about that rotation. It's when the opposite is in 5, tries to hurry up from 5 past 6 to come to 1. That's a long distance. But now he was just in 6, 2 steps to 1. So those costly errors. Wow. Now the players have to know the protocols of getting on court. You don't just move out anyhow. So the second ref is insisting on the right protocols. when the rebel is coming on and the center player is going off, they have to do it in the right way, not having 7 people on court as the other one is getting out. You wait for the other one to come out, then you go on.
You go on. So the service is with Tanzania Stars, Jeshi. Jaze through with the service.
Well picked. That is an AB.
A combination
Yeah.
play.
But I expected an attack from it. You know, those combinations are good when it's an attack, not a dump.
No.
Mm.
The whole
Check
point
the
is
movements.
getting
A
the
point.
whole point is getting a point.
Mhm.
So if
Mm.
you can score on it
Mm.
either by dump
Mm.
or attack,
Mm.
the good thing is
What a pancake. That's what people call it.
oh,
Good play
that's a good
from
play.
Rukinzo
So
for having covered that dump.
you remember when I told you both teams are equally matched? You can see both their games.
Yeah, they are moving point per point.
Yeah, they are equally matched. Reception error.
Okay, do you prefer receiver attackers tipping that ball or making 2 steps back and they dig that ball? What do you prefer?
Now, the 2 steps work when you are seeing the tempo. In most cases, when you're not seeing the tempo or the flight of the service, you're going to end up.
That's another block kill.
That's
So that's a good block from Rukinzo.
It is. That's a good reception. And the center player misses the ball.
Rather, I would say not missing, but it's a poor communication from the whole team. Maybe the center communicated to the center player and the center player gave a feedback of what ball they are supposed to come for. You see that?
No, but I feel like there ought to be a certain consistency and communication or connection between the middle blocker and the setter, because that just feels like they are not in sync. And we have the first time out for Team Tanzania, Jeshi.
As well, I hope they have utilized it well.
It is
because
a
they were
well-deserved.
moving from 8 to 8. Now they have been left behind.
It is a well-deserved, but those are small points. They can easily catch up. That's a difference of 6 points. They can easily catch up. 5-6 points.
Okay, let's see what again the server has in mind. Now
That's
the
a good
Ribeiro.
reception. And that's a good score. I wouldn't call it an attack.
What led to that score? It was the Ribeiro assisting the receiver attackers. Remember, they first made a reception error. The second, they struggled with the reception to put it, and the setter miscommunicated
Good
with the
service.
attackers.
Ball is still in play. Oh, and the block is late.
Did it even jump?
The block did jump, but it was late. By the time they were jumping, the ball had already landed. You see?
Well, I can tell you that he had already given up. You know, giving up already?
That's a good reception from Team Tanzania. That looked like the ball was on.
Out. Attack out.
It looked like the ball was on, but it was actually out. That was a good effort.
There was a big range, range from the
distance. That's a service error. And the point goes to Jeshi.
I think this is where our teams got a little bit caught up in that rotation. The second rotation here.
The one thing I'm noticing about both teams is Rukinzo is trying to serve hard. They are actually.
Wow, that's a nice move from the center player.
The
They
block
found it.
is inconsistent. It's like they're not watching the ball and the center player.
You saw it from the warm up. They are putting this middle set near close to the net.
It
And
is. It's one that they can easily. Oh, that's a good reception. Back set. Poor corner.
effort.
And to the libero.
It's
And
a point
the ball
and from
goes
Rukinzo.
out.
Oh, the coach is signaling to the middle or to his players.
And the same thing happens.
It's another rally complete.
Nice defense.
First over.
And the libero puts the ball high. Position 4.
Well recovered. First over. And finally, the ball has landed after around 4
It was a
rallies.
good rally.
To me, a rally is when the opponent takes the ball over, it is returned, and again taken
back. And that is what we have been seeing. Good service. That's a point.
Play continues despite the Jesters trying to, the Rukinzo people trying to say it was an attack fault.
It is a point to just see. Like I was saying, there's just something about how the Tanzanian team is playing. Their service is more safe. It is a safe service, and even their play feels safe. Yet Rukizo
is going aggressive.
Yes, they are going aggressive. From
That's
middle
what we mean.
blocker,
The center player,
blocker
the
to
middle
center
attacker.
the center player to power attackers, they're all being aggressive, even with the service. They're risk taking.
Wow, that ball was tricky because it's a 3 ball. It attracted the blockers. It came close to the receiver attackers.
Oh, that's a good service. And he attacks. Just a 12 attacks the ball out.
Rukinzo is having 20 points and just has 11 points.
They need to.
No substitution has been made for Rukinzo side, and no timeout has been made for Rukinzo side.
Service error, which earns Tanzania a point. Substitution for Team Tanzania. Jose 2 is in. Their captain is out. Sorry, Jose 15 is out. That's a good block.
Poor reception from the Rukinzo side. I think they are being too comfortable with the lead.
And Tanzania utilizes the chance. That's a safe service. And a monster blow.
As I said earlier, the Rukinzo side is being comfortable with the win, with a 6-point lead. It was actually 8-point lead.
It was an 8-point lead, but now
because they're being comfortable up there.
And that's a good service. And it is blocked and blocked again.
The coach of Rukinzo calls for the first time out. He's forced to call it. Actually, in this game, after having a 9-point lead, he was not going to call it. He just needed 5 points. Because on 20 points, you just need an immediate break and defend one, and the game is over. But now he has been forced to call it because now the Tanzanian side has made 3 to 4 consecutive points.
Yes, they have. And the substitution is actually working. The Jazz 2 block is high, and it is working because the defense is okay, and they have now
I see,
a 3-point
the Tanzanian
lead.
coach preferred bringing a taller blocker on and removing their first choice captain, the setter, to be off.
Yes, that is true. But again, that is a good decision. That is what makes them coaches and good coaches.
End of timeout.
Just 12 with the service on Team Tanzania. And that's a good service. Combination play, defended.
The setter is off.
And
The center player doesn't utilize the chance. He was supposed to set almost, I think. We see now Rukinzo having their first substitution. And the captain was being taken off. So the referee had to be sure who's the captain now in charge. Because it's only allowed for the captain to talk to the first referee.
it's a good service. And there's an error on the defense there.
It was a weak and slow swing, but actually it found the Jeshi Stars not
Out
in
of
the cover.
position. Yeah, they are out of position. And it seems like that is what has given Rukinzo a lead. They are failing to attack, to defend those simple balls. And center player receives and follows, and the point.
Rukinzo is being more too comfortable because with such a serve and reception by a center player for Jeshi Stars, he lifted the setter is front court, so they actually thought he's going to dump. And he lifted the blocks for the middle player to just make a score, and it's a score.
That's a good reception.
What an
and a good attack. The execution was okay. Second substitution by Team Jeshi of Tanzania. Jose 9 out, Jose 11 in.
Rukinzo just needs 3 points to end the game.
And there
That's
is a
an
reception error
for Rukinzo side.
That is a reception error. And the coach calls for a timeout. That is their second timeout, Team Tanzania. With the scores at 17 Tanzania, 23 Rukinzo.
My question is, after that timeout, I don't expect Rukinzo also to call another timeout. So what do you think the coach can say to them, can motivate them to at least go for it?
Right now, Team Tanzania is failing on a couple of things, reception being one of them. It is a little shaky, and their backcourt defense is a little shaky. It's either they're finding a player out of position, or they are failing to be in the right position and watch the ball being set. So the block is either going too early or late, which is giving Rukinzo a much better
percentage of taking the first set.
Yes.
As you can hear the noise, the
ref-
fans of Rukinzo Burundi side are saying they are taking it home. The first set.
The first set, okay. There is a chance and a possibility of a comeback. And they give a free ball.
And the first ref calls for a double.
The ref
from
calls for a
Rukinzo
double.
player. Because that was a free ball. He was supposed to dig it over. He decided to tip it. In the end, the ball rolled.
See, this is what I'm saying. There is a possibility of a comeback from Team Tanzania.
With 1 point to go. Okay, let's watch that.
He just needs to keep the ball
Such
steady.
an easy service.
And defense.
And you have forgotten we have that strong attack in 4 who scored the previous point.
Not a strong attack. It is just that the defenders are literally out of position. He's defending position 5 in the row.
They is attacking diagonal.
They
were all in that long corner.
Exactly my point. Now, this is something I have noticed about all players. And I mean no offense, but once they are rooted, they are rooted. Drop a ball in front of him and they will either just slide down or fall.
Yes, indeed. He delayed to come back and to take cover.
Either they
So that
serve
is one set for Rukinzo, the Burundi side, with 25 points.
and 18 for Team Tanzania.
We shall be back with the second set after a 3-minute break. I
Me,
hope it's not 5 minutes because in our
analysis
league it was a 3-minute break.
on analysis of this first set. Where do you think was going wrong for Team Tanzania, and what do you think Team Burundi was doing, or Rukinzo was doing, that was superior above Team Tanzania?
One, the setter of Rukinzo was doing magic. He was lifting the blocks off.
So
He
it,
was setting that ball. Blocks are late. As you said, the other people blocks are a bit late. So it
yes,
was the setter mixing them. Another thing, the communication was clear of the set and the attackers. The balls is setting, the AB they were trying to make, all that. And the reception was, although not all that perfect, but was well utilized. The service was okay. They served hard. Actually, it's the only team that has served hard. At least I think they have more than 2 S's. Although we remember the other 1 S towards the end,
yes.
but they have quite served well. So they have the service.
Mm.
Although the block, Uru or the Tanzanian side, the one with the block, it blocked several couple of balls there
Yeah,
than Rukinzo. Uh,
that's true.
but for their service and attack, they were scoring.
That is very true.
Okay, we shall be back with the second set shortly. Well, we are back for the second set. As the previous one ended on 25-18, what is your expectation and your prediction for the second set? Are
Well,
you seeing the Tanzanian team taking a set?
no.
You have given up the hopes of saying equally matched.
They
And
are. It's just that
Anyway, the service whistle has been authorized. Now we are in live in play.
The dump has been picked, and that is a good execution of the ball set in position 4.
What I can say on the coverage of the Tanzanian side, they actually saw where the ball is set. They actually directed it to the cover,
That is
but
true.
now it found the cover flat-footed. That's a first hit from the Tanzanian side with energy.
There is a ball in 3, a pipe in 3, and it scores. I like how Rukinzo is playing their game. They're playing it calmly, but I'd say
People
a
train
little more
together
fierce.
know their movements. So
Yes.
I don't want to say that that is a judgment on saying the Tanzanian side are not playing together, that they don't know their movements. But these ones have made it more too predictable. Wow.
And there's a defense error there from the libero.
That is a quick thing from the middle player. I think it was a poor set or a poor reception. He just passed over the ball.
Yes.
And the libero was expecting 3 touches and they scored, the Tanzanian side.
That's a good set in position 4. And he scores.
And how did he score? Talk about such a hit.
Now
From the
that
head up
hit,
to the roof.
actually it hit the block. He didn't hit the head, he hit the block, but the block was more of a safe block. So
I'll go back into my lens and see that. But the head is part of the block.
good cover. Ball is set to
Nice defense now.
nice defense.
You do it the first time, we see it. Oh, the second ref noticed what? A net violation, I think. The second ref noticed a net violation.
Oh yes, there was
on
a net
top.
touch.
Mm.
There was a net
But
touch.
that is a good watch from the Tanzanian side. After having been given one good pipe, the second pipe had to be aware and know it's on. So they defended it well.
Rukinzo with a service. And there is a service error.
That makes it 2 for the Tanzanian side and 4 for the Burundi side.
There's a rotation foul. Again, position foul actually. And these things were explained at the beginning of the game. I do not understand why they keep making the same errors. That's a good hit. That's a good hit.
Apart from the hit, it's a good combination.
It's a good set.
As the receiver, the opposite, remember,
Yes.
as you see how they are standing, he moved. The center player took their men and the opposite hit when the block is asleep, let's say. That's a good ball in 2, but again it's blocked.
Good block.
I think this time around,
Block.
Rukinzo has improved where they went wrong, where the block they were not good in the first set, but now I think now they have recovered.
They have recovered.
Ribera has struggled to pick that.
And there's a 3-man block. So it's what I would call the Berlin Wall. No way through.
It is well predictable because the reception made the setter off. So the center player was facing in 4. That made the 3-man block move and block that ball. Again, the Tanzanian set is good at setting a ball in 2. That has helped the Tanzanian team, the Jeshi Stars, come up with another point to reduce on the point
I
range.
would literally think that the player in position 6 would bias towards the attack. It's a good reception, good set.
It's an error again.
And the point goes to Rukinzo.
They were caught off position again.
That seems to be happening a lot for
the Tanzanian side.
Yes, it does.
I think they are improving on it. They're trying to make effort on those balls. Because you saw 4 players almost on the ground trying to touch that ball to be in play again.
And we have a service from Rukinzo.
Well picked by the Rebel. And stamped by the center player.
Yeah, players in Rukinzo are getting a little comfortable with the center player because he's not attacking much. He's actually dumping the ball in position. But just because they are not there.
You actually have to block a hard hitter than a dumper. You know that theory?
Yes, it is. That's a good reception, good set, and attacker scores. I feel like the attacking 4 is going
Ribeiro
over.
is flat-footed. He moved behind the block zone. He was supposed to come on T, what people call T here in 5, but he found himself behind the block shadow.
No, and
And
besides,
he
the
failed
attacker in 4 is literally using the block of the setter because the setter is a little shorter.
No, that would mean he attacked line, but this time he came diagonal. So he dodged the shorter block and came this side.
That was a set that was a bit off, and the attacker in position 4 could not utilize.
So 5 points for the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania.
And 9 points for Rukinzo.
Ball still in play. Oh, finally.
And they lose. That was a good play, actually nice play. That means their attackers are literally watching how the players of Jeshi, Tanzania, are positioned because
So
they are playing against them.
This is where people say you have to be wise sometimes. It's not all about the hard attacks. They're trying to play those dumps, quick balls.
Service.
Nice energy. Put on the ball in position 4. That forced it to be a block out. Makes it 7 for the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania.
So from a 5-point lead
it's reducing
a 3-point lead.
That's the first service error. In the second set.
The second set, which wins Rukinzo of Burundi a point.
So you still stand by your argument they are equally matched?
Well, they are. I will still not change my... Wow.
It's a hard attack out by just 4 of Jeshi Stars of Tanzania.
And it's a good watch from the Rukinzo block.
What do you mean they removed the hands and let him fly?
Yes. That means they are watching the attacker. That's a good service. And a failure in defense for the libero.
That is another good swing from the middle player. That earned them a score.
It's a good count. After 2 attempts, we have a score from the middle blocker.
What I can say from the Jeshi Stars, they have done the same thing twice to them.
There is just something about these off-net sets that their setter is trying to connect to them.
The Jeshi Stars of Tanzania called for a timeout. That is their first timeout on 8 points, 13.
That is true. And it seems like Rukinzo is really enjoying their game. You literally see them smiling on court like they are enjoying their game, which I can't say much for the Tanzania Stars, the Jeshi team.
The smile is coming after they make a point. But Rukinzo, they have few points. Even though they make one, they don't press on making the second.
You know, that point where you have to celebrate every point, that's what they need.
I hope after here you'll give them a what?
So the service.
End of the first timeout for the Jeshi Stars. The first ref authorizes the service.
And it's a jump serve onto the net. The first service error in set 2
for the Rukinzo side.
The Rukinzo side.
That makes it 9 points for the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania.
And that's a 4-point lead for Rukinzo. Session ball in 2.
Well covered, well picked. Center player now puts it high. It's
And
well,
that's a good block.
it's still in play.
And
First
the
ref
ref calls
it.
for a double.
The setter.
And the point
Jeshi
goes
Stars.
to Rukinzo.
Having seen these teams, let me take you back to our league. Where do you see them play? Do they play Serie A of Ugandan volleyball? Do they play Serie B or Serie C?
Now, that is something that is a little tricky to say because even in Serie A of Uganda, we do have teams that are still playing, that play the same tempo and the same game, you get. And we also have them in Serie B. So it is hard to know. Even in Serie C, they are there. So it's hard to say you would place them. It would happen to unless you have played them against a Serie A team. And we have a double substitution from Rukinzo. Jaze 2 is Jaze 8 is he's going out, 6 on, Jaze 2 out, Jaze 4 on. And Jaze 4 has the service.
Let's see what the Jesters have planned to utilize in order to score. Actually,
And there is a defense error.
there is a substitution for the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania. They bring again the tall setter and they remove their captain, I guess. Is it? No, maybe it's not the captain. The first ref has not emphasized on that.
And it's a good execution from the middle blocker, which is a result of a good set, giving us 16 points from for Team Rukinzo.
They have struggled to pick that one.
And
Jeshi
that's a good
Stars.
block. And that's a good block. I like how the blockers are in Rukinzo keep their eyes on the ball at all times. Especially this middle blocker. He
What I would
is
say,
doing a
they
good
have a
job.
plan to move that. The service serving where they are screening. So when the ball comes back, it's easily blocked.
And that is the first ace service for Team Rukinzo in set 2.
I think you have been taking note of that. Unless you are wrong. You may be wrong about that.
No, it is.
That's a good hit from the
And
middle attacker.
The libero fails to defend.
That is 12 points for the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania.
And 18 points for Team Rukinzo.
Another service error from the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania.
19 points for Team Rukinzo, and the service goes to Team Rukinzo. Will it be an ace? It's a jump float.
What I see that position 4 has made wonders for the Jeshi Stars. Whenever they get a good reception and the ball is put in 4, it's well scored, either off the block, either through the blocks or above. They make a point from there. But hardly do they get that perfect reception to score from that.
To the setter, received to the setter. And it's an offset for... So the Jaze 6 opposite attacker for Rukinzo, a left-handed attacker, fails to put it on court.
Yeah, locally they say Bavayo, meaning they can catch up, and those people are comfortably leading, they can drop back. So we can go with that and say Bavayo or not.
And our center blocker, there's a magic with this Jaze 14, the center blocker. He's having most points. That point was just made by Jaze 14, Rukinzo. And we have the
Ask
jump service.
I will ask the statisticians to tell me what you are saying. You are saying the most points are being taken by the
Like middle points. Like really, the middle points. He has made most of them. And the middle blocks have been made by his partner.
So I will say I will confirm with the statisticians who are taking stats for these games.
It's a
See
good
who has made
reception.
the most blocks of it.
And we have a killer attack from Jose 14 again. Middle block.
That is a poor defense from the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania. They never started with their man. What they say, start with your man in the middle. The ball is the setter, be ready to block. But they were late.
And we have a personal block from Team Rukinzo, Jose 14.
What I actually said that the other people are failing to start with their man.
Yes.
For the Rukinzo side are starting with their men. That's why he had that monster block all by himself.
We have a very good jump service. And a failed attempt on an attack.
What I can see is another substitution made by the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania, removing the middle attacker, bringing in another experienced middle player to see if he can lift those blocks because they are being a problem for the Jeshi Stars coming back into play.
And we have another failed attempt, leading Rukinzo with a 24-point lead.
That makes it a set point for the Rukinzo.
Points for Team Rukinzo. There's a
It's a rally.
It's a rally, and it's picked by set to position 2, and we have a point win.
This game ends at 25-15. The Jeshi Stars of Tanzania have declined, having reached 18 points in the first set, now making 15. It means they have made more errors than the Rukinzo side. What do you say? What was the analysis for this second set?
Well, I would say Rukinzo picked up the game. You made use of whatever ball was set up. Yes, there were a few errors here and there, but I would commend the blocks. They kept watch on the attackers. They kept watch on the ball transition from the setter to wherever it was going, whether middle, position 4 or position 2. And I saw more combination attacks from Team Rukinzo than I did see from Team Jeshi. I do not know. But the reception was a bit shaky. Defense was a little unstable on a couple of points. But yeah, they did execute.
Well, having seen this for my first time, seeing Rukinzo and Jeshi Stars playing, two sets within 47 minutes. Remember, this match was scheduled to begin exactly at 12 noon. But 47 minutes, two sets in the Ugandan Volleyball League, that is a surprise.
Really?
Yeah, because if it is the worst set to end, it will go for 20 minutes, 24, 22 there.
No,
So
wait, hold on. What you're trying to say is they have played this set for 45 minutes or both sets for 45 minutes?
Both sets for
47 minutes, actually.
Both sets. And yet a single set in the Ghana Volleyball League, 20, 22, 24 there. Single set.
20 to 24.
Yeah.
So each minute, each point.
And remember, plus the 3-minute break interval.
That is interesting.
It's interesting to see that they are being summarized. So back to your argument saying that they are equally matched. I can comfortably say
Rukinzo has the upper hand.
The upper hand of taking it a 3-0. Because I have not seen any other magic apart from a ball in 2 and a ball in 4. Ball in 2, ball in 4. Middle player gets his luck, scores, but is the one they were penetrating a lot and scoring from the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania. So they have to actually work on their defense, the coverage behind, and the middle, the blocks. They have combined. Yes, if they are to make one-on-one, then the center player has to be super fast
Yes.
in order to prevent those balls. Because the Rukinzo, I think it made around not more than 5 backcourts in 5.
Yes.
See that?
Yes.
In both sets.
Yes.
So that means the middle player start with your man and has scored more points through the middle.
That is true.
So they have to work up on that.
I feel like it comes to the point of them, because now defense is a two-way street. There is the positioning of the block, and then we have the backcourt positioning itself. So either the two are not communicating or something of the sort.
I think that is something they will work upon with time. Since it's their first match, and it's good when you play an opponent to show you where you are supposed to put your emphasis on.
That is very true.
I hope they're also realizing that their catch and backward defense
Yes.
coverage is still lacking.
Just something I've noticed about the Tanzanian team right now, they have started with the taller setter, the Jersey 2, other than the Jersey 15 this time round in this set in particular.
You may be the senior, they give you a chance twice. But if they don't see something coming up, so they may end up going for trying to change things around and see if they will work.
So the set has started, the third set has started with Jeshi, Team Tanzania, starting with the service. And their setter is front court. One of the things I haven't seen these two teams play is, okay, it happened in the first set where the setter Rukinzo, was it Rukinzo? No, it was Tanzania, who made a point for himself. It is not often, and I'm not seeing it that much. Unlike the ladies' game, you will always find that dump by the setter, especially when they are on front court.
Well, we are coming into the third set. Once I see that hand and I hear that whistle, I know now we are back in action.
Service. And it's a 4-hit, giving Jeshi Tanzania our first point.
Actually, the Rukinzo attacker was late because the setter was trying to do some bit of magic. You see where the blockers are? He shoot a ball out a bit. Ball in the middle again. And it's a spot.
Something about the middle blocker this side, he really is inconsistent on watching that ball. He's not really seeing it being set, and he's failing to block it. He's not watching the person he's blocking. And that's a bad reception from Team Tanzania. And the ref calls a 4-hit of 4 ball in
It's an attack fault.
It's an attack fault. Service from Team Tanzania. And we have a good block.
I don't know when I last saw Rukinzo starting such badly. But what they are doing, they are showing they are struggling.
Yeah, but that's good. At least I'm seeing a bit of them watching the ball. Team Tanzania. And we have an ace from Team Tanzania. First in this set.
And that is made by the taller setter. I think now the magic of the coach is working by preferring to bring the second choice setter in the match.
Another service.
That's good energy on that ball.
And there's a brush out
from the Rukinzo attacker. That makes it 2 points for Rukinzo. And
4 points for Team Tanzania, with a better execution on the ball being set. And a very good block. This is their second or third block so far since this set began. And this block is more of the center blocker, which is a good thing. That means they have their eyes on the ball as it's transitioning
What
from
I
the
saw
setters.
earlier on that was a combined block.
It was. And the attacker attacks the ball out, giving Tanzania our point.
That is 6 points for the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania and 2 points for Rukinzo side. Now Rukinzo earn themselves a point through the middle dump.
That ball was so high, but none of them decided to move. None of them could move because each looked at the other to pick it. It's a good reception to the setter and middle ball. And we have a point from the middle blocker of Team Tanzania.
Wow, things are changing. Things are changing. This is the first time seeing Tanzanian side having a 4-point lead over the Rukinzo side.
Yes, it is. There is just something about, or maybe they changed tactics. Oh, we have a jump server.
Wow, that is a well-calculated dump from the setter because
And
the reception was so high. He had to realize where the blockers are and he dumped it over because they were waiting to grab. They were focused to go block those balls.
that is
So
very true.
that shows that the Rukinzo's side is not sleeping.
And
Another
the
good block from the Rukinzo side.
they're failing to cover the backcourt. I don't know. That is the attack cover or the attack defense. They are failing too because all of them were combined to one side and forgetting
You
that
know,
the court
most
is
times in
actually
a
bigger.
volleyball, when somebody goes up in the air to attack, we all watch. We don't make it to cover the attacker.
You're supposed to. It's a defense. Struggling reception. Ball in
Yes,
position 2 and
it's
it's
another
blocked.
block from the Rukinzo side.
It was a good set in position 2.
Not really.
It was a good set in position
Not
2.
really. Check how the attacker was swinging, how he came for the ball. You would notice the movement. The ball was so close to the net. That's why he just went.
And we have a combination play which scores a point for Team Tanzania.
Wow, that is it a pipe or a backcourt in 5?
It's actually, I would call it a pipe.
The bell was in 6. That's why I was saying it's not actually 5. The bell was supposed to be in 5.
And we have a point from for Team Tanzania with an attack fault. Brush and they failed to retrieve the block.
Well, remember the 4-point lead?
Yes.
Actually, it's reducing. Now it is a 1-point lead. You remember the
Yes,
Jeshi
it
Stars
was.
having a 4-point lead?
Yes, they did.
Now it is a 1 point. That means the Rukinzo side have woken up. What an interesting call.
This is another position error.
Position 4.
Position foul between the setter and middle blocker.
So now it is 9-9.
We have a backcourt in 1, which scores. At one point, I'm actually asking myself, why aren't they playing the backcourt in 1? I've seen an attempt on the backcourt in, I don't want to call it 6, it's like 5.
What brings the other third attacker or fourth attacker into play is the good reception. Once the reception is high, the setter has all options. And remember, this is a new setter, not the other previous setter who was used of his own players. But now this other second choice setter is being democratic. It's giving everyone, whoever is on front court or back court, is applying the balls equally.
No, but there ought to be that one player you can count on, that one attacker you can count on to give you that point at that one crucial moment.
Yeah, the crucial moment you can, but remember how
That's,
committed the Rukinzo blockers are. They are touching on every ball.
that
Even the
is
previous Passover, it was touched on and played, only to be failed to be executed by the receiver attacker. Just 13.
That is true. That is very, very true. It makes me feel like Team Tanzania is leading off the errors, the opponent's errors.
No, they worked for their some good points. They
No,
made some good blocks they made, some good hits they made, some good services they made. Remember, Rukinzo started the poorly to receive.
and we have
It's a good hit
it was
of the Rukinzo side.
it was a failed attempt on a block, on a missed timing, I think, on the ball. But
As you can see, the complaint from the middle player who attacked it. It's saying release the ball this side where the block is not. The block was most such close to the setter, so he wants it a moving ball so that he can easily penetrate.
wow, and the setter decides to make his own point since his attackers are failing him, I think.
Now I was saying he was trying to use his advantage as a tall setter because he went to do the jump set
Yes.
and he saw the space.
Why would a center blocker not block that ball?
Actually, the middle blockers are advised when the ball is coming over, dump it or block it in the sides
That
where
is
the
true.
players are not. But now, this time around, when he was doing it, he did it carefully or with caution that it never crossed and remained inside.
I
Do
understand.
not forget that point if they lose this set. They will not forget what he just did because that would give them a lead. But now it has given the Rukinzo side a lead again.
That is true. Now, from a 7-point lead to.
Was, remember, a 4-point lead.
Oh, yeah, it was a 4-point lead. Now they are equal at 13-13.
Right, that's right. But I can say things have changed with the use of the second setter for the Tanzanian side.
That is very true. There is a difference in their play at the moment.
Ball is still in play.
Ball is still in play. Bell receives it, middle to position 2, and it is defended.
Nice defense from the Rukinzo side.
And the Jazza 12, the opposite of Team Tanzania, decides to use the block to make the point. And I'm kind of wondering why that wasn't thought of in the first place, because it makes me think those blockers are tall. If the set is to them, then use the block.
It's easier said than done. You can easily see it from the outside, but when you're on court, the pressure
is different.
is crazy.
It's crazy.
So what I can say, the Rukinzo side are trying all means to earn themselves a big point range to seal this and ends as a 3-point lead.
That is definitely true. But Team Tanzania is also not giving them an easy play.
What would you call that? Poor defense?
No, I would not call that a poor defense. I would say they literally process one ball and forget that the other opponents can utilize. They're taking long to respond. Once the ball crosses over the net, go to the next thing, shift to the next thing. If it is
What I would say, it was like it is supposed to be you playing that ball, not me. That's what the eyes of the libero from the Tanzania was saying.
That is very true. And the backcourt, the attacker decides to wipe it off the block.
So it is 15-15. Shall we be going point per point up to 25s?
You remember in volleyball, to win, you have to have a 2-point difference.
or more.
or more.
What is that?
Wow, that's
Let me just call it spectacular play.
if we want to put it that way, we can. But yeah, it is a bit of lazy play on the side of Rukinzo.
Actually, it's interesting to see that right now no team has got for a timeout.
That is true. That is true. Ball is defended.
So this middle player, the middle blocker of Rukizo is trying to show that I'm energetic, I eat more calories than you. By the way, talking of foods, what do you think the Burundi side eat and the Tanzanian side eat most?
Um, Tanzania would say ugali and sukuma wiki.
For Burundi,
I don't really understand. Well, I do not understand what just happened there. Did the blocker decide to block using his chest?
it's a misjudge.
Oh.
You try to go to block over the ball, and it was his own. He saw since the attack is not attacking, he removed the block. So the attacker said, okay, you have removed the block, let me put it on your chest.
That's an interesting play.
So he does the same and says, I paid my revenge.
I
Dumped the ball on me and scored. Also, it dumped the ball on you.
That is very true. Now, this is something that is a bit weird. There's a tall block in position 2, and he's starting from way behind. Like way behind. I would feel like you'd come a little closer so that it's easier for you to pick those dumps.
If you want to avoid net violation, you just have to be off the net and jump. The one you are saying way behind. But they have to jump off the net. And another thing, it's a high set, so you'll think they are going to attack. And you'll not come up in the mind that they are going to dump. When you remove the block, you'll make someone have a police case. And speaking of a police case, how many police cases have we seen so far?
Not even one.
Already, we have seen a kaboom on ground, not yet on someone's chest.
Not yet.
But we have seen monster blocks.
That's a monster block.
And
the setter celebrates his points.
That monster block leads to the first timeout of the third set made by the Rukinzo side. Wait, what happened?
It was more of like a substitution.
The second ref have liked her more. She likes protocol. When the coach said the timeout, his players were already coming off the court. She had to take them back on court. And the coach was confused. Now I'm calling for a timeout and you are denying it. Then after they went back on court, she signaled to the first ref that they need a timeout.
Now, this calls for player discipline. Player discipline. If you do not follow the disciplines, because these things were explained to them before the beginning of the game, and if you do not follow the protocol, it's going to cost you. I'm imagining she has the authority to give them a red or yellow card.
I don't blame the players. The pressure has already gone upstairs. When I say upstairs, into their heads, into their minds. So they will forget once you say yes, they turn. This they turn because it is the moment they are in. You don't want to be in it.
I understand that, but they cause the pressure. This is the pressure to conclude the game instead of them actually playing the game and concluding it.
In volleyball, when somebody reaches 19, they are in the last corner of the game.
I understand.
Because they can just make defense like that and win a set from it.
And we have the fifth monster block from Team Tanzania.
Actually, I recommend you to join the statisticians because you are good at following up.
No, it's just having a good eye.
Substitution made by Rukinzo. They're resting one of their highly effective middle player, bringing in another middle player. So that is 20 points for the Jeshi Stars of Tanzania and 17 points for Rukinzo side. That is a 3-point lead again. You remember when we last have it?
Yes, it was around a good defense from the libero and good execution from the attacker in position 4.
So if it was a 3-0, or it's no longer thought of.
I told you this game will be ending in either favor of one team or the other. But remember when I told you they are equally matched?
They
Do
are
you now
trying to prove
believe?
now.
Do you now believe they are
They are
equally
trying to
matched?
prove until they take the set. Yes, 4 points are remaining. But if the Rukinzo side out
Uh-huh.
and come into the game,
Yeah.
it will be game over. And it's an improvement from the Jeshi Stars because remember,
Mm.
they haven't reached above 20 in the last 2 sets.
After just giving us the hype from that block they were having, then the block decides to sleep on attack, and
Most times, that's what substitutions do. You don't know how they attack, where they attack the ball, their movements. You don't think that they are actually coming in to help the team. And after they surprise you with such a score, that makes it 19 points for the Rukinzo side from Burundi.
which is actually which is forcing team Tanzania to call a timeout because they are literally looking at their lead getting taken advantage of or taken over.
Remember, it was a 3-point lead and it reduced. Now they have to worry. So the coach might be telling them, actually, do you know that we have this set? We can actually take it and force them to a decisive. But if actually you let our lead slip, it's all over.
Like there's that it seems like there's that pressure to conclude. Yet they ought to be calm and just play their game. Come and play your game.
Okay, let's see what this type of service brings on board. Still a rally going on.
Thoroughly going on. It seems to be a 4-hit. But the ref doesn't call it. And there's a complaint from the Tanzanian team.
The Jester's captain goes to the first ref and says, what I saw actually, the middle player attacked that ball on the belt and his players didn't touch. But the first referee says, no, actually that is the opposite. There was a big touch from the blockers. So he allowed play continue and ended up with a brush and Rukinzo the 20th point in this set.
Okay. So the player in position 4 decides to make his point known. And the fans would literally call that a Cherop's point.
That is locally here in Uganda.
That is locally here in Uganda. But he decides to make his point known. This was our point.
So a 2-point lead now.
A 2-point lead we have. And yes, we have another point from the same.
With the hands raised above his head, you just know that is a sign of a timeout from a frustrated coach of Rukinzo. He's saying, look at the scoreboard. What is happening really?
It is the pressure to conclude. The fact that these people are trying, Rukinzo is trying to conclude their game at a 3-0. And when you look at the advantage that just is playing, that Tanzanian team is playing, they are playing their game. They're just having fun at it, going at it as hard as they can and as best they can.
The moment I don't want to be in is being in a comfortable lead. They had a comfortable 2 sets lead. Going in thinking these ones are easily beaten. But now they forgot that these ones are seeking for some say.
That is
Where they
true.
say in this game.
That is true.
That was going to be our first police case. The guy just 14 of just started saying, you want me to be the first victim of the police case? No, I have to fall down now.
No,
Check the replay again. How is the ball coming and said, oh my God.
And yet he could have literally touched that ball, but for fear of his face being hit. And that was a failed attempt of a block from the middle blocker. Eyes on the ball, eyes at the ball. All times when you are middle blocking.
So 21 points for Rukinzo
And
3 points for Jeshi Stars.
23. Team Tanzania with the reception. They receive it to the setter. He sets a backcourt in one, and it is effective. So we have the set point for Team Tanzania. Do you think they will make it on first attempt?
Looking for 1 point and looking for 4 points. Really, even the figures say it.
Do you think they will make it? And we have service error. Another. That's a second service error from Team Tanzania.
I keep saying this. I will recommend you to the stats. You're good at monitoring how the services and other points have been distributed. So, this moment is when you pray for that service to pass over.
Now this is where
And it is game down.
it is game down. Point from middle blocker. It was a dump. So set scores we have Rukinzo in the lead with 2 sets and Tanzania.
This is the moment where the person with 2 sets now gets on pressure, and the person with one more set is actually saying, I'm taking the whole game.
Actually, this is where I would say anything can happen in volleyball because you never know. These guys can come from behind and still steal the show and win.
Anyway, let's wait for the 4th set now. Imagine we are waiting for the 4th set.
That is very true.
Welcome to the 4th set. Remember, it is Team Rukinzo having 2 sets and Team Jesters of Tanzania having 1 set.
You know, this is the funniest thing. Among the East African teams, these two, countries, these two are the most quiet countries. But they actually
So
know.
volleyball? Oh,
No. They're just quiet. Like Burundi doesn't make any noise. Rwanda, we hear noise from
where?
Rwanda.
From social media,
Either social
politics,
media,
volleyball?
politics, anything, even sport-wise, you don't hear Tanzania and Burundi making noise. But
Well,
right now, they're here
I won't
making
go that
noise.
side, but in the comment section, I believe they know.
That
They
is
know their
true.
own map.
That is true.
We are
That
part
is
of
true.
Tanzania. The battle between Tanzania and Uganda in Iseka for what? I'll not tap for that side. Let me remain in volleyball. This is my first time seeing a team from Tanzania playing volleyball in front of me
And
and
actually,
a team from Burundi. So let me enjoy this first set. And the first referee has authorized the first set to begin. And actually, what they are trying to score, how they're earning their points, is the same way they've been earning their points in the other sets.
that is true.
The
There's a,
dumping game is still in them.
yeah, that makes me think there's a failure in movement. Execution.
Such an effort wasted, yet and Rebello put in an effort, condense a heavy attack. What would you say to your teammate if we waste your ball when you have made an effort for it?
You know, there's a point where words can't even express what you feel. They really cannot express what you feel. So I believe you just look, wow, what an attempt on defense for the libero from Rukinzo.
I would say it's a flying cover.
That is true.
Reflexes.
He saw it. He couldn't reach there in time. That is a beautiful attack down the line. Then you wonder what the blocker was
Again,
doing.
the Jeshi Stars still have a problem with their coverage. When they're attacking, two is they attacking where they're supposed to cover, attacking four attacking where they're supposed to cover.
Actually, that the failure in coverage or defense is running both sides, because you see the error this side in Tanzania, then you see the same error in Rukinzo.
Anyway, that is game pressure maybe, but Rukinzo was well organized in terms of that.
I'm seeing a backcourt and it has earned a point. But now the way the points the scores are moving, it is one makes a score, one team makes the score, the other evens up. So we're moving one step at a time.
Should I say they have been exhausted in the third set, that now they are over dumping?
I don't think so. Them trying to be safe is what is costing them right now. I believe this is a point you be reckless. Or just, yeah, you just are reckless. And you never know. You'll meet that one person who will dive into your one ball going out.
Okay, let's wait and see how reckless they will be.
Like I said, this attacker in position 4 is really, really trying to be reckless about it, and he's scoring. Jose 15 is scoring for
This
Team
time around, I
Rukinzo.
will say he was in the right position to cover the ball, but
Yes.
he moved his body, the reception, and ended up moving off the court.
And we have a
Well
point.
enough, we have the line judges to tell us where that ball landed, because they think they scored that ball on court.
It
The
looked,
line judge said that ball is totally out.
it did look like it was on court. And we have our first monster block from Team Rukinzo. Middle blocker in set.
As earlier I had said, should I say that one was also a Cherops in case that that point wasn't yours, or Cherops happens that the point was ours?
The point is given to you unfairly, and it was for the other person or the other team.
Okay, ball is still in play after some spectacular plays.
And,
Wow.
and the receiver attacker decided to touch the ball that was going out. Anyway, I would understand that is more of like the adrenaline.
You see that, Roddy?
Yes, it was.
People are making efforts.
And then there is that one person who's literally caught off guard.
I think he was supposed to have position 1, but the way the rally was ongoing and nobody was in 6 and 5, was trying to move. So in moving, he forgot where the court ends
That is
and
very
how high
true.
the ball was. That's why referees are there. As you are making your effort, you are not aware that there is some other violation that people made, or the player overshot it.
Yes, he did.
You know, sometimes you're supposed to make that net the violation, but run away and focus on to the next one. Confuse the referee.
In other words, deny it,
Try to deny. Don't show it off
but
that you
deny
have
it.
committed. Anyway, as the comments say, encourage Rukinzo. I hope people want Rukinzo to win and say maybe they can challenge in either quarterfinals or semis. They don't think that just as they say in higher ends of the tournament.
But you see, when I'm looking at how Jeshi Stars are playing, I am actually impressed. Very impressed. Very, very impressed.
So what do you prefer? A middle blocker blocking that ball or attacking it?
You see, both of them are a risk. You can attack and touch the net and block and touch the net. So at that point, what your head tells is what you do.
The right thing is block, because
The
you
right thing, yeah, is
you
block
can just touch on the ball and leave. But the attack, the whole swing might end up
in the net.
Yeah.
But we've seen them attempt the same thing over and over from the first set to where we are right
Remember
now.
when he tried to block it and he blocked it to his own net
Yes.
on outside? I think now he said, let me attack it.
And it's also going in the net.
They're still in a rally.
Something about Rukinzo's attack cover. They all set the ball and watch the attacker going to attack. None of them, you look at how Jazeten was literally standing and watching of Rukinzo. He just stood and watched. There is no attack cover. They're not defending their attacker just in case the ball is brought back. So it's like they're sure that it's going to be a point.
What I can see from the set points right now, the set scores right now, we have, it has reduced now. That makes it 8 for the Jeshi Stars and 9 for the Rukinzo side. That means again they're still moving point per point.
That is very true.
And that was tricky in the third set. You move point per point and be comfortable that we are making, they are making. Then it reached a point those guys said, okay, you are making, we are making. You make 1, we make 4. And that changed the game. And just as I said.
The ref calls a foul.
A net violation.
And the point goes to Rukinzo.
Gives it a 2-point lead.
Very true. Which is making this game is really interesting in a way. It seems that set 1 was a warm-up for both teams.
Whatever happened in the first 2 sets, that is put behind. What now focuses is, how did they come up in the game to take the third set?
That is what I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
But we have been here seeing the game being played.
That is true. But you realize that they upped their game when they were playing the third set. They upped their game. They were defending,
serving well,
defense, and then
scoring.
Technically serving. It wasn't hard, but it was technical in a way. So there's a way it would disrupt the play of Rukinzo.
Nice swing by the Jeshi Stars in position 2 and makes that score count, making it 10-10.
We have a timeout from Team Rukinzo. think the coach is trying to regroup so that they can re-strategize for now, because they kept having a lead of 2-3 points, and we are now at 10-10.
As you can see from the images, it's trying to say we need our blocks on because their attacks are not all that high above the blocks.
That's true.
Too hard, they can be blocked. So he's saying our blocks, if they're on, we are making more points.
Let's see if the coach's notes are going to be put into play at the moment, because there's you listening and then you decide not to do whatsoever the coach has said.
Let's see what comes.
A good set. And that was a good attempt on an attack, which earned Rukinzo a point, the 11th point. And we have our double substitution for Team Rukinzo. For 6 in, 4 out, 2 out, 8 in.
So remember, they have told them to put those blocks. Now they have earned the service. So this is the moment they're supposed to put the blocks on.
Yes, the defense.
It's 11 points for the Rukinzo side and 10 points for the Jeshi Stars.
It's a good service. And the attacker actually attacked the ball on court. It did look like it was out.
I thought there was a block touch there somewhere. No block touch, but the ball was on.
The ball was on court.
Yes.
It actually looked like it was off, but it was on.
It was too fast.
Yes, it was.
What happened?
Currently, we have
once you see that color, just know there's been maybe a collusion on the block. I think the elbow, as the Ribeiro is explaining it, when you are blocking, the way you bring your elbows, they might cause an injury to your player.
Medical team is handling the problem right now. Seems like the player is not bleeding. And we are back to our game. Rukinzo with a service. 2-point lead. 12 Rukinzo, 10 Tanzania Stars. It was a good idea.
Most times when you are from the block and you don't pull out, and the ball was just dumped or the ball remained around front court, they will set it to you.
It wasn't actually him that picked the dump or the defense. It was the middle blocker that did so. Just that he had a good idea of brushing it onto the block and out, but didn't jump high enough, so it ended up in the net.
And we are having a technical timeout whereby after the nose bleeding player, I think he left some bit of droplets on the court. So they are trying to clean up those so that people can play in a safe environment.
That is very true.
The technical timeout is still on.
Free ball from the...
That's an overreach from the Jeshi Stars setter.
Yes, giving the point to Rukinzo.
Play continues, and that's a pipe. That's, I think, the first or second pipe for the Jeshi Stars
Yes, that it
in
is.
this first set.
And they failed to cover or defend it up. Apparently the defender was off position. A good set in position too. And our left-handed opposite pause, making the point for Team Rukinzo.
It is 14 points for the Rukinzo side and 12 points for the Jeshi Stars.
We still have our 2-point lead from Team Burundi.
Well, it's a good swing from the Jeshi Stars, but what surprised me is the cover of the Rukinzo side. They were out of position.
That is what I was thinking. I was thinking when the attack is in position 2, the person covering position 6 would bias a little to position 2, just in case of those brushes, and they would be able to touch them. And we have our opposite for Team Burundi making us a point.
I think position 2 is making more points for the Rukinzo side right now, eh?
because it's more of the attacker right there is left-handed, and you know how hard it is to block a left-handed player. You usually never know where their ball is going.
Yeah, I am aware of that. Most how their swing goes, inward
Yes,
or outwards.
that is true.
Right now, what was ongoing, it is the captain exchanging words with the second referee about a position foul that was called. The captain is trying to inquire and insist that we're in the right positions. What happened? So the second referee is insisting that the opposite was out of position.
Oh, that's what's actually making them. And you know the funniest thing is the server had served onto the net and then was actually saved by the rotation foul.
So that is a chance to redeem yourself.
Redeem yourselves.
Let's wait for the final decision from the referees upon that point. It may either be still rewarded or not, or made a common point, whatever comes in.
That is very true.
And the captain apologizes. And the first referee gives it as a common point.
Gives a common point.
Mm.
In either way, it helps the server redeem himself. Otherwise, that ball was served to the net. Let's just hope he puts it across the net. After the final discussion,
I think that here the communication was about the injured player, saying the player is okay. Uh, just like I guess they don't allow a player to come in for when it is a reserve. They don't allow. They don't allow. Remember, the coach is worried of serving in the net or out again.
exactly, because he puts that ball in the net.
So on a reserve, they don't allow that substitution. You have to first wait. And now the Rukinzo coach is saying, what's that? So the second referee goes to inform of the rules. That's why they say to be a coach, you have to have attained some level of refereeing and coaching as well, to know the rules to guide your players. So when they explain, the players are smiling and saying, oh, No, leave it. So they have just left it.
And I'm literally seeing Jazza 7 going up to the server and telling him just put the ball on court, which he does.
Wow, from that strike and the celebration, they show that they just as really need this point.
That is true.
They have reduced the 2-point gap to 1 point.
It feels like they are rooting for a decisive. By the way they are fighting, they are rooting for a decisive.
Well enough. They will be entertaining us. We are here to watch. Wow, that was a quick play. What happened there? The players are picking up themselves and saying, that is gone. Let's go on to the next one. Remember, they're fighting to take up that 2-point lead, to reduce it and maybe tie or lead. So they pick themselves up onto the next.
This is what I'm saying. It's like Team Tanzania is rooting definitely for a decisive, because when you look at how their play is and how they are going about it, just before that, there's a substitution going on for Team Rukinzo.
Actually, it's the reverse substitution. Remember, they
yes,
came in earlier.
Yeah,
so now that substitution is complete.
That is true. I am hoping our player who was not bleeding is okay at the moment. And yes, it is Team Rukinzo with the reception at the moment.
So Jeshi Stars are having 15 points and Team Rukinzo are having 16 points.
Their play, they are really rooting for a decisive.
Well, as they said in the comments, encourage both teams. Attacking out softly and attacking out hard. That is always an argument in some fans.
No, now this is the thing about attacking out softly. That means you are either trying to put the ball on court, but you failed. Like you are just trying to place it on court. And when you attack it hard, you are looking for that brush, that last finger.
He proves his point again. Remember, he has just attacked out and scored.
Now he has scored against the block.
So seeing again, they are going in that range of 2-point lead, 1-point lead. Slowly, it's like that.
More like initially they were making 1.2-point ratio. Now they're making 1.1-point ratio. Make a point, I make a point. That's how they were doing it.
So who will take it?
Like I said, Team Tanzania, other than the service error that has just happened, they are rooting for a decisive. By the way they are playing, they are rooting to take this set and then go for a decisive.
When he's up in the net and you say you want a decider, no thank you. They are being too careful.
It is an error. You know, volleyball is a sport of errors.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So it was an error.
What coverage is that?
That attack seemed, it was the way it was
flat-footed.
It made it look like there was no block.
You remember when the volleyball started?
Yes.
6 in, not 6 out?
Yes.
Or 6. No, that's what they demonstrated. 6 in.
6 in.
There was no one in the deep corner in 6.
That's what I was saying. Someone in position 6.
The same thing has happened to the Jeshi Stars. Exactly. They are all 6 in. The blockers have left in space. The 6 in person is supposed to receive that.
That's the thing I was talking about. The biasing. Position 6 should be able to navigate. But it seems their position 6 is more like covering like the libero. Monster block there from Team Rukinzo. Monster block there. It's been a while since we last saw a monster block in this set.
Because this set has a lot to say.
So
you are going for a decider, or it's all over.
Team Rukinzo is busy saying no way with a 20-point lead and 17 for Team Tanzania.
No, it is.
Actually, it's a 3-point lead.
Now it's a 2-point lead because the Jesters have actually
Made
got a point from the error made by the Rukinzo team.
I was going to say they ought to use the shorter block, but there's no short block on front court for Tanzania.
That is a clever play from the Burundi setter.
That is very true. You see, this Rukinzo
The
players,
substitution that has been made right there, it's showing 14 is out and 7 is in. I think 7 is more of a defensive blocker. That's why they brought him.
that is true.
Remember 14 area netted and showed that I netted. Yes.
Yes, yes,
So the
he
coach
did.
noticed that and he remembered quickly to make it.
That is true. And this is late game.
As we said, it's more of a blocker. They were there, but the energy applied has forced that to be a block out. So such a lead, the coach is supposed to either to get a timeout and give a word or two to his players. Since he has not called it and the service with has been authorized, let's wait to see their game plan.
It's true.
Still in play, still in play.
Still in play, ball is still in play. And the middle.
What a chance!
Oh!
Actually, he reached on the ball, but unfortunately, the way he received it.
I understand. You know, it's one thing for you to be fast enough to chase a ball, but the composure to literally bring that ball back on court is something else.
That's what I was talking about. They have to call for a timeout. The Jesters of Tanzania made a timeout. Because remember, they were moving 1-point lead, 2-point lead, or ups. But now, it's a different story. 3 points?
It's a 3-point lead. We actually back to the 3-point lead for Team Rukinzo, which is actually interesting.
But whatever the result, I will give the Jesters credit because they came from their loss to their highs. So they will have something being proud of into their next game.
It is actually very impressive and interesting that they are playing the way they are playing. The first set, it seemed like they were just picked out of bed and put on court to play. They were not warm. Now we are seeing both teams actually showing that, yes, we can actually do this.
There's no way you can argue with the first referee who is very close to that ball or in the antenna. The ball, the antenna is close to him and the ball. So when he says the ball touched the antenna before going the other side, he has seen it.
Now the thing here is, you might see and you might not see and assume you've seen. So there's also that. It's technical in a way.
That's a good swing from the Jeshi Stars. The ball is retrieved. The libero and the receiver attacker collide on that. Again, he adds some power to each. But the coach is saying, what was that? Let the libero receive and the receiver attacker just be ready to attack. Because now it's still a 3-point lead. Remember, from a 4-point lead?
Yeah. Now, this is the interesting bit of it all. Now, whenever Rukinzo gets to the 23-20, they are on the pressure of, we need to seal this thing and get done.
That is a question from the middle player asking the outside blocker saying, why didn't we begin together to seal? We are on a crucial end of the game. If they had, wow, no, actually it's not a fault. He jumped earlier.
No, he did.
I thought actually he hadn't joined the block, but he jumped earlier with the center man. Or with the setter.
With the setter. He jumped with the setter.
The middle player was dodged and there's a point. But that again goes for a poor coverage of the person in 5.
You realize at that point, the setter is front court.
Yes.
So the attacker in position 4 is bound to block the setter.
To prevent the setter from jumping.
And the technicality is you ought to block the setter and the middleman so that the center blocker can join in position 2 and block the man in 4. He jumped earlier.
So 24 points for the Rukinzo side from Burundi and 20 points from Jeshi Stars of Tanzania. Wow, that is a breather. I call it a breather. When you attack that ball, when it's blocked, you be the worst in moment, feeling that you have costed the team.
No, but it is volleyball. You are bound to be blocked at one point or the other. So it doesn't really make sense.
That is the first police case I told you about.
Yes, that is the first police case of the game. And
actually, Hans Rukinzo a whole 3 points.
It does. And I am here wondering where this lethal middle blocker for Rukinzo has been hiding.
Me, I'm wondering, did they save the police case for the final moment?
It is literally very hard to tell because you see, as you're attacking that ball, you're trying to put that ball on court. By the position in which that libero was in, that ball might have been going out.
No, the way it landed in his chest and the way he was not facing that, like a vertical to the other position that means he was facing it when he was on court. That retry, the ball was on because it landed in his chest and was facing directly to the side of the opponent. But credit to the Jeshi Stars who have earned themselves a set from what some people earlier on had said maybe it's going to be a 3-0 after seeing 25-18, 25-15. You didn't realize that the Jeshi Stars would take a set.
That is very true.
Also giving them credit in the first set to see they have reached 21.
That is very true. That is very true. And this has been it from the game between Rukinzo and Jeshi of Tanzania, Jeshi Stars of Tanzania, which has ended with a 3-1 in favor of Rukinzo Burundi.
Our next game is KVC versus Prisons at 3 p.m. Ugandan time. Here, the men. So that's when we'll be back to give you more. Let's first take a break and we shall be back.
Stay tuned and thank you for watching.